here on the Radio Wammo Breakfast, where time now is 10 minutes past 9.
10 years ago, Halo changed the way we play video games. 10 years ago, Halo introduced millions of fans to an incredible new universe and delivered billions of hours of entertainment. That was 10 years ago. This is now.
Yes, well, 10 years ago, I can't say that I was one of the people who entered this new universe, called Halo, but I certainly have had a good look at Halo Combat Evolved, and so has Gerard Campbell as well. Hey there, Gerard, how you doing?
Hey there, Wammo. How are you?
Very good. Yeah, so this is the original Halo game, Combat Evolved, that came out on the original Xbox. I was going to say 360, just the original Xbox, right?
Yeah, the original black, big, bulky Xbox, which came out in early 2001, I think, and probably slightly later for us. But yeah, I mean, Halo was essentially the flagship first-person shooter for the Xbox console. You'd had first-person shooters before on PC and stuff, but I think this was the game that really sort of sold the original Xbox.
Have you still got the old Xbox sitting around somewhere?
I have. It's actually still connected to one of our other TVs there.
Ah.
Yeah, it is. Still goes.
It still goes.
Still goes. Yeah.
You probably couldn't say that about an original Xbox 360 if it hadn't have been repaired. I don't think that would last the 10 years. But the original Xbox, there you go. So you played this game when it first came out back then, yeah?
Yeah, I did. Yep, all those years ago. It seems ages ago, doesn't it? And it, there seems to be a bit of a renaissance at the moment of sort of redoing old games, sort of remastering them in the high definition.
Yeah.
And I guess with Halo being sort of, I hate using that word iconic, but I guess it's one of those iconic sort of Xbox series, isn't it? That whether you hate it or you love it, gamers know about Halo, and it's got a huge following. And I've played, haven't finished it, but I've played it years ago, but I've sort of played my way through it and got a good sort of feel for it. But
so what have they? They've updated the graphics, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. They've sort of, they're high definition now. They've got better textures, so they look better. So it looks better on your high definition TV, basically. So I think if you were to plug in, your console and play the original Halo on your HD TV now, it would look pretty washed out. So they've updated the graphics. Better sound, surround sound. They've redone some of the original multiplayer maps, I understand. But, something that you would have noticed too, Wammo, is that a nice feature is that, at the press of the back button, it reverts the graphics back to how it looked, 10 years ago. And, it's quite an impressive feat, really, seeing what it looked like 10 years ago and what it looks like in this revamped version. And
to be honest, I occasionally, as I'm going through the campaign, about 3/4 of the way through, I will look back at the old graphics and I go, actually, the old graphics, man, they hold up quite well. They weren't actually too bad, even though that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, perhaps the most sort of stunning moment for me was really early on in the game, when the Master Chief crashed on the Halo, the ring itself, and climbed out of the crash craft, and you sort of saw the landscape for the first time. And I actually must admit, I did play a lot of that in the old look, because I actually thought it looked a lot more atmospheric. It didn't look quite as sharp, and it didn't look as vivid. It actually looked really atmospheric. So but you can certainly see how things have improved over that 10-year period, as you'd expect. The gameplay's the same. It's the same play, same enemies, same story, same Master Chief. It's just, been tarted up for a modern generation. And
so that's where it's interesting for me, because I never played the original Halo Combat Evolved, and I haven't played Halo 2. I started off at Halo 3, and then with Reach. And what was the other one? ODST in there as well. Yeah, and so my story, or my knowledge of the story, comes a little bit later on, and also the prequel and all that kind of stuff. And so it's really quite nice to figure out, okay, well, this is where it all started. and start filling in those gaps in my knowledge of the Halo sort of universe. But one thing I also noticed was the gameplay I found a little bit more challenging. I found the enemies, the AI and everything was just a little bit more challenging than say the later games. I don't know if you noticed that as well, that they seem to be more persistent and there seems to be more of them.
Yeah, well, that's something that I thought too, because especially the elites and those sorts of things, the bigger ones, they seem to be more, so the AI seems to be better, and it seems to be far more aggressive.
Very aggressive,
than it has in the early days. And look, I mean, I think at the end of the day, if you're not a fan of the Halo series, you're not gonna want Anniversary. It's not going to change your opinion of Halo.
Right.
And I think what the Anniversary this will do is this will appeal to gamers like yourself who have perhaps picked it up at Halo 3 or ODST and want to know, what is the backstory? Here's my chance. And I also think you're going to have diehard Halo fans who still play, Halo multiplayer every night or, once a week, or they've still got a really big following for it, and that they're going to want to get into this. They're going to want to play it, how they probably always imagined that they wanted to play it. So, I mean, I think it's and I also sort of think, maybe this is going to keep the momentum going for Halo 4, isn't it? It's going to keep the Halo series in people's minds.
Well, interesting breaking story about that this morning. The developers confirmed that the game won't be on a next-gen console, therefore it will definitely be on Xbox 360. That's Halo 4.
Right.
343's Frank O'Connor has confirmed that Halo 4 will be on Xbox 360 release, despite speculation that the game might be a launch title for the next-generation Xbox. God, goodness knows when that's coming along. So that's good news.
Interesting. Yeah, well, it is good news. And I think, too, pretty much like GTA 5, which I think will also appear on, it'll appear on this current generation, they've got a huge install base with the current 360s. So I think if they, they could run the risk that if it's such a big series, the Halo one, that if they did a new one straight away on a new console, they may not have the big install base for it. So, it's certainly an interesting move, though, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. All right, well, there it is. It's out today. We'll just be talking about Halo Combat Evolves, the Anniversary Edition, and go and check that one out. And I think it's a little bit cheaper as well. It's not like a full-price game either.
No, I don't. I don't know what the price is, but I think it's about 40 US, so that'll make it about 60 or 70 here, wouldn't it, I guess?
Yeah. Bargain price. Hey, thanks very much, Gerard.
No problem. Thanks, Wammo.
Stuff.co.nz is where you can head to get more Gerard action, and Game Junkie NZ on Twitter.